I'm in the park today, so excuse any background noise y'all hear. Some of the toughest things we have to do in life, generally speaking, is stuff that we really do not want to do. It's easy to do things you want to do. The experiences I've had over my lifetime has been so challenging and so tough that I know there's a lot of people who doubt a lot of aspects of our old teachings and education and knowledge. Beginning to understand why the structure and the construct as it is doesn't want the general public to believe in astrology or anything spiritual, really, like believing in a deity unseen and just going by faith. Having knowledge and knowing is a different animal than having faith. Having faith, you still have some wiggle room and control in that and that construct. But those who know, who gain knowledge, it's very difficult to control that narrative, control their minds, control their thoughts, control their concepts about what being alive is, control the happiness quotient. Like everybody's quota of happiness is just to be just so much, depending upon the person, what they look like, their culture, where they live. All those things are under some form of control. But once someone gains enough knowledge to know some things about this construct, things become uncontrolled, chaotic even, like it is now. The issue is there are some things that weren't working for the majority of folks, and that's when constructs tend to fall. It's when there's just a small group of folks that things work for, and then everybody else it does not work for. This does not mean there does not ever need to be a hierarchy, because there does. When you go into a doctor's office, you expect that doctor to be knowledgeable about medicine. The layperson in the hospital that's maybe doing clerical work is not going to come in there and diagnose you and possibly treat whatever ailment you have for a reason. There's a hierarchy and a structure there because of the knowledge gained over time and the experience gained over time. But here's the problem with our current construct. Those with the ability and the knowledge are not getting into the positions they need to be into in order to heal the construct. Because the construct repeatedly, as long as we have independent thought and free will damage itself. Will do things just like we, the above as above, so below concept. Just as we will go eat something, put something in our bodies repeatedly, knowing full well the long-term ramifications is sickness. But sometimes, because the construct can be difficult, we'll go do that for comfort. But we still need to later on figure out how we're going to heal that. And then we go to a doctor inevitably to help with our cholesterol or our weight gain or whatever else we got from comforting ourselves through something that could be harmful. That's just a part of the dynamic of being alive. Ebbs and flows, ups and downs. But the construct as it is right now is so damaged that it takes people who have knowledge, the knowing, not the belief structure, because the beliefs in and of itself is not harmful. Believing in something helps over time, especially if that something is there so that you can figure out your way through your own life and possibly help others through theirs. Hear the train? I got kids on it. But when there is damage, those with knowledge are awakened so that they can help heal the damage. But if those with knowledge who are awakened to be able to, not belief, that is a luxury that is afforded to many, but there are a few who don't have that affordability. To me, belief is wealth. That is wealth. Because there's wiggle room in belief even for you. Knowing is a whole different construct. But those who know and understand, also are gifted with the ability to help heal those who believe. Hope you understand. And then in the belief, it's not supposed to be in those who heal. I think that's part of the construct that's getting wrong right now. It's not supposed to be in those who heal. Believing in something bigger is ourselves, all of us together collectively, understanding that those with knowledge are the medicine. No more should you worship or deify those who heal than you do the medicine that a doctor gives you. It's never supposed to be that way. I understand that, for example, there are people who kiss the ring of the Pope. Not understanding what I just said. We ain't supposed to be kissing no rings, and that's my tentative opinion, unless something else changes my mind. Based on the knowledge that I've gained over time, kissing any rings, deifying or putting up on a pedestal someone who's meant to heal doesn't sit right with my spirit in so many ways. I know I'm not the only one who considers this concept, but it's just my way of saying it. Nor more too should we deify and put up on pedestals above humans, those who heal. We are the medicine. We are servants. I don't say the things I want to say anymore on here or anywhere else, mostly because I see that being an issue. And I honestly, I found before this time period in my life, there was never a problem I can solve or figure out how to solve, gracefully or with my intellect. Is becoming a big problem because the healers are harming intentionally and unintentionally at this particular time. I see them as healers, at least potentially. I see them as having the ability to heal through their words, through their actions. I see myself in that number. I choose to do one at a time, two at a time, 10 at a time, whatever the case may be, whoever's sent to me, who is open toward, get some form of healing, receive some form of healing that I've gained over time. I gained it the hard way, you see. Very, very hard way. The calling, they call it. I ignored it for a very long time. Not fully. I always was helping somebody do something or heal some aspect of themselves or their lives, whether intentionally or unintentionally, my entire life. But what it boils down to, the ignoring part was like, I need to get some structure for myself. Truthfully, I'll be honest with you, I've never been allowed to be selfish. Anytime I've tried to be selfish, something went awry. And when I say selfish, I mean just doing something just for myself, not to harm anybody else necessarily. And that part I still just don't get or understand. What I do understand is what I'm saying now is healers are meant to heal. That's what I understand. I don't think enough of that's happening, because if it was, a lot of things that are happening in our current societies across the globe would not be occurring. Now we can open the door, and some of us have, to the healers to receive the energy they need to receive so they can do the job that is meant to be done. And sometimes that is taking something away, like cancer in the body. We can heal that through medicine and different modalities in some cases. But we ain't going in there to make friends with it. We're going in there to destroy the cancer. And some of us are meant to do that, to deconstruct. Some of us are meant to deconstruct and to build and to heal. Some of us are meant to just heal. How we do that matters. And I have a more and more difficult time wanting to be a part of pretty much anything, including the communities of healers or those who profess to be those, and prophets and things of this nature. Mostly because I don't want to be a part of anything that isn't part of that concept that healers are meant to heal, and everything else is just a construct meant to distract from that process. I never wanted fans, I never wanted followers in that sense of being put on a pedestal. I'm the same as you. I just got a different job than some people. That's the way I see it. That's the way I've always seen it. I have just different vibration. You matter. Everyone does. You matter. You go into a mechanic shop, a well-trained mechanic can fix your car, just as a doctor can heal a person with medicine. Doesn't mean that doctor is someone less important than you are. The doctor is important because of the task they've figured out how to have expertise in. They took the time to add the skill and the knowledge base to themselves. But you most likely will do something else or have skills elsewhere that matters just as much, because all of it matters. And it's a thing to call yourself a healer. It's a huge deal to me anyway. If you heal, you shouldn't hurt. It's like the saying, God don't give with both hands. What I've understood that to mean when I was growing up, as I've been growing up, is you're either gonna be brilliant, or you're gonna be incredibly beautiful to look at. God don't give with both hands. Because there must be a challenge in it. You imagine being brilliant and beautiful at the same time, what that looks like. To me, I would think it looks beautiful. It'd be a God amongst men. But then what comes with that is the inevitable. And that is corruption. The potential for it. Doesn't mean the choice would be made. But because we have free will and the choice is available, God shouldn't give with both hands when you think about it that way. And if God ever does, I would assume there's some construct in that needs to happen, maybe. I control nothing as it pertains to such things. But what I can control is my own decisions. I choose to continue to be a healer. I choose to continue to grow as a person, just individually. I choose to still continue to be a messenger for the divine. But I don't want to fight other messengers or supposed messengers in order to do that job. I don't think that was ever supposed to be a part of that construct of healing. There's obvious changes that's been happening since 2012. I know people think it's 2019, 2020, but this has been going on. This has been in motion since 2012. The Mayans were not wrong in that aspect. People think the world ending means ceasing. Nothing ever truly dies because it cannot. It transforms or becomes the exact same thing all over again to attempt to transform, if that be possible. So even if the world explodes, we'll all exist. Everything that's alive will still exist somewhere energetically and be reformed energetically elsewhere. This is the elsewhere in my concept of mind. It don't have to be yours, of course. I always encourage you to think for yourself. But I do take that role seriously. I don't want to take away with one hand and give with the other. I do not neglect the shadow, even though I took some time away from my shadow, cleaving from my shadow, so that I may heal my shadow, which is part of my own personal shadow work. I had to become the gentlest version of who I am, or who I am possible to be, in order to see my shadow clearly. Sometimes that must be. So sometimes when somebody say, we're not all love and light, you need to embrace your shadow, I believe, and you don't have to believe it, that you're missing a step. In order to embrace the shadow must be something that is solid and healed. And sometimes, in order to look at that with some sense of retrospection, you must see the parts of the shadow that is illuminated and that comes up for healing. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. See, I got to a space where I was potentially the most violent I could ever be possible within my being without actually harming a human being with my hands. And that's not my natural set point. I know it isn't, but it told me it was still a part of me, and I didn't like it. So I chose to be the gentle. No matter what somebody did to me, I chose to be the gentlest version of who I could possibly be, so I can look at that aspect and see the parts that were valid and the parts that are something that needs to be evaluated or reevaluated, so that I can come back to my shadow and say, hey, sis, we all matter. All aspects of you matter. Now, how can you do this in a way that's more effective? So you can be the healer, the best possible version of that you can be. That's what I choose to do every day. I get discouraged sometimes because there are some people I chose to do that with, or heal, or help to heal themselves. That do things that break my heart. I'm like, well, what was that for? And the kids are not doing the worst possible job of educating the masses. It's just, one of the things they said was, your job is to help them understand unconditional love. Their job was to help you understand how to love yourself better. And I know I haven't, for most of my life, I haven't really loved myself. I haven't had time to love myself. I was surviving a lot of things. Having time to love myself wasn't on the agenda. The one time I took time to love myself through just following my heart, it blew up in my face. And that took a long time to recover from. I'm finally recovered from it, but it doesn't make me feel like it's safe to love myself. And when I say that, I don't mean in an inward way. I love myself inwardly, outwardly, through acts and allowing someone else in to love me. I don't feel safe in that. I haven't felt safe in that in a long time. And every single time there's an opportunity, I think there's an opportunity to allow that, whether it be friends or family, it's always something that just ain't right, or something that causes me to think that it's safer to be by myself. And I don't like that feeling for myself, but it is what it is. Can't just, is my logic. You can't get disappointed if there's nothing to be disappointed in, because I can't disappoint me. I order my steps, and I've told y'all what that means before, ordering your steps. Every step you take, you consider yourself and your environment and those in it. And you make amends when amends need to be made. When you make a mistake is different from an on purpose. When you're on purpose do something that's harmful, your job is not just to make amends, it's to give up off it. At least my elders told me. Again, this is one of those parts, but you ain't got to believe it. But my elders told me, if you do something on purpose, your job now is to apologize, make amends, change your behavior, and give up something. Especially, you did it on purpose, that's your job now. To claim that karma, that's your job now. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. And I can't believe in something or know something that I'm not willing to do myself and have. I think the biggest part of doing a job that I believe to be true. I know there's people that don't believe healers exist. See, when I'm talking about healers, there's levels to this. No, there's people who can help you heal through helping you through your shadow work, therapists, doctors, nurses. But then There's an additional level, and I'm not ashamed of it, and I refuse to hide it anymore, of people who can literally lay hands on you and help you heal. But first things first, they also have the different other layers of helping you heal through your mind and your consciousness. It's a fantastical thing to think that you can heal something or someone with your hands, and that comes through levels of pain that I don't wish on anybody. We're here for a reason, to help heal this place. But I also know we're here to destroy some things too. That part I still have trouble with. I literally have to be pushed to a limit that I don't enjoy before I finally let go and say, okay, this might need to go or be torn down. I hate that for myself because it's usually painful hitting that and painful destroying it. I think the level of healer, if you're out there and you think you're one of these people who can literally lay hands, the amount of pain you have endured in this life while maintaining your sanity and your knowledge gained over time will tell you the strength of that ability. But sometimes, if I'm being honest with y'all, it feels useless. Sometimes. At least to me, in this current paradigm. Because if it's just one me and thousands out there who could care less how they use the healing spirit, as long as they get clout or attention. And I'm not denigrating it at any point. It's like we all gotta survive somehow. We gotta eat, we gotta turn on lights. And I'm like, I don't know if it's very smart, but I'm not trying to eat or turn on lights. I'm just trying to get from one week to the next. Somebody donates to me, they donate to me. They don't. But they still get the same services no matter what. And it feels like it's, after all these years of doing it this way, it feels very not smart. Seems like everybody else is doing it smarter than me. But I can't look at that anymore and still keep my sanity. I can't be around it anymore and still try to do it this way. I need to at least continue to try to do it this way. That is just putting one foot in front of the other and ordering my steps, saying what I have to say and what I am about to do, is this going to help this person or persons or hurt them? And seeing all the potentials for help and hurt, like literally looking at it from a Dr. Strange perspective, looking at all the possible ways in which what I am saying and doing is going to be helpful or hurtful, and then decide my steps back on. I can still make a mistake, but at least I'm making the decision intentionally to not cause harm. Well, all the other structures spiritually that needs to be deconstructed, okay, but if we put more people out there that's been loved on, that's been healed on, we won't have to destroy so much. We won't have to fight so much because people start to understand that they can order their steps too. I welcome all people, no matter what their culture, beliefs, and their background are, because one of the things I'll tell you from my students, and my students can tell you, I encourage them on a regular basis to read all of the holy texts, no matter what name or culture subscribes to it. Read them all, because all of them have in it valuable things. They're talking about a different God. Are they? Do you even know what God is? Or who God is? I know it's me. I know it's you. I also know sometimes even God needs to bring in some medicine or healing. Some people heal through intention. Like they can do it with their thoughts. At least they claim to. I would suppose a healer powerful enough can do such a thing. But when things get a little wonky, no different than if you have an all-night binger after age 30, what you gotta do? You gotta set up the BC powder or the aspirin. If you don't, this is the way you can get past a hangover quick. I don't get those, but I know how to do it after the moments that I do get them, which is rare, but you understand. You set up your water, you set up your BC powder, your aspirin, some orange juice. And if you smoked a lot, and eat whether you're a smoker or not, because some people only smoke when they drink. You take a little cream of tartar and put it in some orange juice, a little bit. Put in some orange juice to flush your system. These are the things available to us to heal ourselves without going too far. Especially when we know we did something or we had a lot of fun. Some reason I think that everybody thinks God is separate from us, and that separate being does not want to have fun sometimes, or want to live a little bit, or experience things. I believe the opposite. I believe that's why we're here. That is exactly why we're here, with the knowledge of knowing that if you're going to go on a bender for a while, you're going to need to clean your system and flush it. Heal the things that are hurting. You're going to have so many experiences. And every now and again, you need to go on here to have that checkup and figure out what you need to do to make yourself whole again and functional. It's not about right or wrong, or good or bad, or even evil. It's about experiencing and living, being alive, taking that big breath that we all collectively take, and experiencing all the different things that we all collectively experience, while understanding if we do too much, we're going to do something about that, or it's going to hurt, or worse. And that's where we are. Anyway, I'll say something when I have to say something, then I'm gone for a while. Because I super don't love, like I enjoy writing, and that too has become less enjoyable, because when I write, usually on Facebook or something like that, I inevitably go to scrolling, and I'm enjoying what I'm seeing until I don't. And the things I don't enjoy, the energy sometimes supersedes the energy of enjoying. And I also understand the different strings of control that are within those mechanisms as well. On top of the fact that sometimes, even though, thank you clients and students for always showing up and reading what I write, but sometimes I'm preaching to the choir. At least at this point, taught enough people and had enough clients where it feels like those who show up, I'm preaching to the choir. The choir already knows some things. They've already figured out how the mechanisms of healing their mind and their consciousness and their spirit, and choosing to not be of harm, but also protecting themselves in this dynamic that is uncontrollable. So even that is lost its luster. It lost its luster a long time ago. I don't gauge success based on whether or not I have more followers and things like that. I gauge success on whether or not someone healed by proxy of something I said or did. And when I say healed, that means they go from being a douchebag to not being a douchebag. They go from being pained by their own existence to not being pained by their own existence, at least even if it's just a little bit. And somehow I find out about that. That's how I gauge success. And right now we still have a bit of a capitalistic system. So if there ain't money in that or clout in that, then it isn't deemed successful by anybody but me, I suppose. But that's what I deem as success. Are you capable of healing someone? Healing yourself first, of course. Because there ain't a healer out there that haven't done some things harmful to themselves and others through their learning process, through their pain. But are you able to utilize that to help others? Are you able to now do that? Or are you doing it through some other means? And so for me, my gauge of success is just that. But that's why doing this kind of thing is challenging and difficult. Because for me, it don't have to be for you. Success gained is seeing change, a difference, alchemy of the mind, the spirit, and the body. If I cannot do that for myself or anyone else, then I have not been successful. But if I can, I have. For me, it's that simple. Anyway, those are my thoughts today. And to let y'all know, I'm in the park in my city. And I'm going to try to be here. No, I'm going to be here every Sunday that I can be here. If you want to talk or learn something, I'll be here. But social media ain't it for me right now. I'm still going to see my clients. I'm still going to see my students. I'm still going to teach them. And better modalities, I do that. But being in the world and not of it is where I'm going right now. Anyway, you're loved.